Okay, today we're going to be playing some Anno 2205. I've been playing a lot of this game over the last few years. It's a good chill game, once you get the hang of it. Going to be trying to gun for a veteran difficulty achievement. It'll take a long time to get. I won't stream the whole journey, but figured it'll be a good introduction to the game for some who might not have seen it. Can show how to set things up. But first we'll enjoy the cool cutscene. We on the moon, lads. One of the things I like about this is it's obviously a game set in the future, but it has a bit more of an optimistic look on it. Like, obviously it's all corporation controlled and everything, as most narratives tend to have, but they tend to be a bit more along the benevolent lines, I guess you could say. So we have a bunch of corporations that I've been playing through.
Is there something you wanted to ask?
I initially did my playthrough on easy. Once you get started on easy, things get easy, funnily enough. You find yourself never short of money or goods or anything like that. I did have a couple of corporations I'd started with the idea of achieving some veteran achievements, but I can't remember what settings I used to create them. I also did a fully automated run a while ago. I did contemplate streaming that, but wasn't sure how well that would go. But for now, we're going to create a new corporation.
Accepted my invitation. Samantha Beaumont, Global Union Supervisor.
A little bit of sort of exposition and stuff to set things up.
We have a lot to discuss. But first, I'd like to introduce you to your Artificial Data Amalgamating Messenger.
Or ADAM for short.
Thank you for participating in the Luna licensing program.
I love it when they just make acronyms. Hey, Tori. Here till dinner is ready. Fair enough.
Of lunar colonization.
I'll probably be going for a couple of hours.
Global Union in the development of a fusion energy reactor to avert Earth's impending energy crisis.
Officially, only megacorporations are allowed in the program, but I personally took a stand for you. You just have to sign in with your corporation name.
So I'm going to call this Evolutionary Leap, which is the achievement we're gunning for, and that is to have 4 million synthetics working for your corporation, which is quite a lofty goal. It'll take a while to get there. What's a good logo for that? A lot of these logos you unlock as you progress and get better at the game, and then there's some that are from pre-order, funnily enough. Yeah, so I need more achievement points for this one. It's quite a fun idea that you only unlock certain logos when you get certain achievement levels. We're just going to go with Funky Dragon. That looks cool.
My superiors at the
Bought this game at your recommendation? Oh, that'd be good to see you play it and see how you enjoy it.
High-grade territory for new corporate headquarters. Choose a sector.
Choose a sector. So there's different starting places, and they're kind of grouped by difficulties. kind of based on the amount of land that's available. So some of the harder ones, like the medium one, has more acres available, but has fewer building sites. So you have to be careful of the resources that you use. And they also have different rewards. This one is primarily easy because even though it doesn't have the largest land area or building sites necessarily, it does have a good goal, like a sector goal. As you rebuild the old hydroelectric dams, you get free energy from them, which means you don't have to put as much effort into making your own power supplies. And then these ones are, I think these are from the DLC. Cape Amber, Sunken Ark. What was that? I can't remember what the reward for that one was. Then New Life, it gives you some bonus synthetics. Honestly, that would be a good one to work towards.
Don't want to be rude, but we have a
But
tight schedule.
you get to unlock all of these during playing the game. It's just which one you start with, and then you have to buy the others, like buy the rights to them off other companies. It's on that short list of games you want to get to one day. Yeah, it was on mine for a while.
Almost there. We just have to negotiate the terms of your contract with Global Union.
So this is where it gets
Funding
tricky.
conditions and the like.
So there's the various kind of preset conditions, but what you also want to do is then go into advanced settings, and these become a bit more obvious. So the default veteran is very difficult. It's right at the high end of the scale, but there's certain things that you can tweak that will adjust that slightly. So you can put on hidden containers, gives you some bonus things here and there, and it doesn't make a huge difference. You can also like turn off assignments, I think, pretty much. Yeah, so that actually makes it harder because you can get certain assignments to get bonus materials or just cash every now and then. They're a good thing to do while you're just waiting for things to happen, but at the same time, they're by no means a necessity, and after a while, you just start ignoring them anyway. So honestly, turning them off and turning the hidden containers on could be quite good. The other thing you got to be careful about is these invasions that happen. If I turn these off, it's still veteran, and you're not going to get bothered by them, which is great, because that is quite a sidetrack. You could also just drop the difficulty of them.
Nothing to ponder over long.
I really wish she would shut up sometimes. Competitor growth, not a huge deal, because you'll probably not be using the share market. I certainly don't really intend to get into that. What was the other thing I was going to look at? Where's calamities? So calamities is the other thing that influences things. If I turn those off, again, it's still veteran. These are kind of regular interruptions that you can have while you're playing. Calamities I'm actually going to leave on because I'm going to be in this save for a long time, and there's achievements associated with those calamities as well, which I'm hoping to attain while I'm working at it. So the other things we can look at is these industry modes. So these you unlock on another playthrough, achieving industry dominance with a previous corporation, and these give you specific modules that you can use. Now the really useful one is the I think it's the energy mode one, because there's one that allows you to reduce costs. But these accumulatively do have quite an effect if you turn all of them on.
Really. Nothing to ponder over.
I'm trying to think which one would be the best. I think it doesn't actually increase your output, but it does help you decrease staffing levels, decrease cost, decrease energy input, things like that. Energy input can probably be quite good on electronics and heavy industry. They tend to be the most staff and energy heavy. Agricultural tends not to be that demanding, so we're going to leave that off because I don't think we're going to need those. Energy mode, honestly, I don't think it matters too much. It's a good one to have sometimes because you can basically reduce the cost of your power plants pretty much to zero. But honestly, I think that's excessive. Like, you'll be still making plenty of profit. So the other things to look at is construction refund. You can make it so it charges you when you demolish something. You can make it so you can't relocate buildings. I prefer to have a fee. I like to be able to move it, and it doesn't change it that much. Warehouse output, this affects how much money you get by default from just your warehouse. Workforce,
Don't
and
want to be
energy, I
rude,
believe.
but we have a
I'm
tight
not sure
schedule.
what impact this has. Okay, so we can have that on plenty and we get a good default startup. It's just going to mostly affect how quickly we can get started in each zone. So it makes it a bit less arduous, basically. So the goods consumption is the other thing. Provided workforce being sparse is fine because you're going to end up with so much workforce. Revenue being sparse, again, it's fine. We're going to end up with a lot of revenue. Goods consumption, if we could drop that down. So if we reduce that to sparse again and reduce this down, yeah, see, that makes a huge difference. Yeah, so then we're going to have to put some other things on in order to juggle it back up. But this can make a big difference in the game. The impact on satisfaction makes less of a difference. So if we can have goods consumption at medium, basically it just means that you don't have to keep making factories over and over again just to satisfy your workforce. So if there's a way to keep that as it is, maybe by turning enemy invasions back on again, but not being
Don't want to
too
be rude,
difficult.
but we have a tight schedule.
Interesting that regular is used in both regards. That's kind of fun. What if we put those to frequent? And then leave those at seldom and regular. We're still just in the veteran territory. Trading post is quite good sometimes, but meager is fine for those. Honestly, relocate buildings, maybe we'll turn that off and it just bumps it up a little bit more. Oh, medium, and we're still veteran. So what matters is the one that's highlighted. So we're just trying to game the system as well as we can at this point. Yeah, inactive costs we want to leave on. So I think that's a good template. We could always toggle these off again, to be honest, because they don't make a huge difference, but if we can leave them on, then I think that's kind of good. I think we'll see how that goes.
It's just paperwork, really.
Invasions
Nothing to
being
ponder
seldom
over
should
long.
be fine. Yeah, we don't have hidden containers though. They can be quite handy just for a bit of bonus materials early on. Is there a way that we can get that back? Not sure. Maybe by dropping one of those or making these challenging instead? Yeah. We'll make those challenging instead. I generally know what I'm doing when it comes to the military invasions.
You
Let's
are
move.
now entering Phase 1 of the Lunar Licensing Program. The Global Union assigned you territory in Earth's temperate region to establish a spaceport and a base of operations. The construction of a space elevator to Global Union headquarters is also required. For further instructions, speak to your official contact person. Global Union wishes you success.
Success. Oh my.
Wide meadows and towering mountains. And soon you will add an impressive skyline to the picture. But stay attentive. I was informed a Big Five company has been monitoring the ruined dam for quite some time now. This could turn out beneficial for you at some point, but your prime objective is to raise a spaceport here.
And here we go. Swooping on in. It's a pretty game.
The spaceport building site off the coast is still unstaffed.
And you can do postcard mode as well, which is good fun. So, first thing we need to do, get some workers in here. So we're going to use some of the keyboard shortcuts, S to build streets. Ideally you want your early, industry to be close to your warehouse. So warehouse here, so we've got 100 cash coming in by default, 75 workers, 50 energy and 50 logistics. The logistics is affected by how far away from your port that you build industry. Now I can't remember the exact widths of things, we're just going to kind of guesstimate on things. We'll just start putting some roads in over here.
Someone call for some workers.
Houses need to have roads, obviously. So now got some workers. That means that we can start putting in some rice fields in order to feed them.
Organic food is perceived as needless luxury by many megacorps. Good to see you share the union's perspective.
We technically moved that one too far in. That's annoying. Actually, I think what I usually do is this, isn't it? Yeah, I'll do that. So now we're losing money already. Yeah, interesting. Well, I guess we can do this. It's not what I usually do, but... see, this is where we need the construction materials from that. So early on, it's very much a balancing act between income, workforce, and production.
Great. Building material shortages shouldn't be an issue anymore.
Yeah, so we won't have building material shortages, because that creates that which we need. But we do need to now make sure that we don't run out of staff. Staff also give you income. I don't know how that works. I honestly don't. Seems odd that you would have staff just providing you revenue, because surely you have to pay them, but I don't know. This is an interesting future we live in. So while things are going pretty slowly, you can also do numpad plus and just let things accelerate for a little bit. So now we've got some more building resources, and now we can do some more of those. We're almost to the point we need to unlock desalinization plants as well. Just going to do some prep work for some more areas. Put 4 more of those in now. There we go.
First ready. Keep up the pace.
And now we can put a water plant in down here once we have enough materials.
For the next construction stage, you'll need qualified ground staff to operate the spaceport. Make sure to adhere to union standards while providing the required infrastructure.
So that's now
you need this desalination
losing money again.
These days, it's the only way to come by drinkable water.
And we're going to need some more rice farm now.
Competitive edge sharpened.
And then we need more houses. It is just such a balancing act at this stage. I mean, it is the whole game. The whole game is just balancing. You can also get more warehouses at some point, but I believe, yeah, I need more advanced materials to be able to buy that. So focus on this island first. This is where having a more plentiful workforce would be useful, but it's fine. Would probably have made it easier, in fact, to get the achievement specifically, but meh. Do more of them.
Construction of new building types possible.
And we'll just go out this far, I believe. And now is when we start to run things along here. In fact, we want to run it here, I think. Zoom along there. 4, 5, 6. Another lot of them. How are we going with these? We're still in the positives, that's good. Gonna need to put in some more power very soon. There we go. So we're still making money. We've still got positive workforce, and now we have a bit more power supply as well. So now I need to connect an infodrome. So we need to wait until we get 10 biopolymers. This is where the hidden containers can be useful. I can't remember, did I enable those in the end? Yes, I did. So there we go. So we can just get a few more meager resources as we look around the map. Just gives you a reason to keep looking around and keeping an eye out for things. There's also the trading post down here that you can buy more things from, but we don't need to resort to that just yet. We do have a bit of spare capital, but our income isn't huge to be able to support that just at the moment. So what we're going to do is put an infodrome in here.
A broad range of information services. This will enable your employees to develop their interests as well as their skills.
So that has a certain cost and staffing levels associated with it as well, of course. Now, how are we going? 1 and 1. So we're going to need some more water soon. There's a water plant down here that we can tap into. Yeah, this has actually gone a bit... I think I deviated slightly to what I usually do on this. Because normally I end up connecting it like that, I think. Do that. Build another water plant, so we're in surplus. Build another rice farm, so we're in surplus on that. And now we can start putting more houses in. We're not actually going to move on to the next step just yet. We're just going to pad this out a little bit more. And we're just going to sit there and wait for things to kind of accumulate for the time being. And I'm just going to reply to some messages quickly.
New level of success reached.
Okay, so we leveled up. We can now build some more of those here. Still got sufficient, so that's good. And now we can start promoting some things to operators, as they're called. So they need another lot of different demands. And we don't actually know about them yet until we start upgrading. So we need to wait until we've got a few more resources before we can upgrade a bunch at once. So it's 2 each to be able to upgrade. We could start putting in more of these at some point as well. The difficulty is that you'll notice the workforce here, we've got 5 employees gives 4 net workforce. Easier difficulties, 5 gives 6 or 5 gives 5 or something like that. It also depends on the revenue that they generate. Operators and higher ranked things, interestingly,
Operators at your service.
5 only goes into 1 workforce.
Remarkable
They
progress.
do support
You've
a
assembled
higher
construction
population,
crews and ground personnel
but the
faster than I was
workforce
expecting.
transference
You are
is
more than
lower.
ready for the first major hurdle.
Now, honestly, I think that
The
seems
program
backwards to me.
demands you connect your city with the
I
global
feel
Union
that
space station
you'd
via
end
a
up
space
with
hub
lower
here.
population, but
So far,
I don't
only
know.
megacorps like the Big Five use such technology. But I'm sure you have the same potential.
Otherwise, it becomes a case of like you end up with only a certain number of workers. So we've got like 390 workers and then 100 and some odd operators so far. You end up with like thousands of executives and they completely outnumber your just lower level workers. And it honestly makes no sense, but whatever. It's just the way the game works. So now we need to start making new things to be able to satisfy new demands. So we need to put in a couple of mines here. We didn't quite run this down where I was thinking it was going to go. Normally we do that. There we go. And now we need more power. Like so. Put in some more workers as well, just to make sure we keep our workforce ticking along. And now conveniently, these produce 5 of those, these produce 5 of those. And then we have these constructo bots, which requires 5 and 5. So it all works out nicely in the end. And we're going to need to put in another one of these. We do get some hydropower at some point, but we do need more operators before we can do that. So unfortunately we can't put our mines any closer to where our logistics are, but we can put this reasonably close.
Good. You've gathered the components needed for the elevator.
Just in the
Only
positives on
elevator
each
cable
thing.
requires special materials you can't produce.
Very close.
But I arranged for a delivery.
Oops. So now we've got to wait until we get materials again. Obviously on a veteran difficulty, you're having to do a lot more juggling than you otherwise would. Especially until you can get specific types of upgrades that get unlocked later. Not the highest efficiency there, but honestly we'll probably only be putting this in temporarily and then we'll be removing it at a later date, because wind is not the most efficient. We've got 2 logistics left as well, but we can put in factories to help with that. Still in the positives currently. So we can start upgrading some more of these into operators. Can't quite work on their next layer of requirements yet. This is where you just need to hold down the numpad plus key, let time accelerate. Unfortunately, one of the annoying things is you can't easily keep track of things as you go, but we can keep an eye on our demand as we do our upgrades.
Construction options expanded.
So we briefly dipped negative in the workforce there, and that's because the, which affects everything else, because the operators aren't as effective. So we need to be careful of that, and now we need to actually put in some more workers to cater for that shortfall. There we go. Now we're back up to full again. But now we can start working on the next lot of demands, which is the vitamin drinks.
Warning. Unfulfilled demand for specific consumer
But we do need to
products.
be mindful of the workforce requirement for that. And the logistics requirement. So we can see we're red down the bottom on both workforce and logistics. So we can put a factory in, or a transportation facility in rather. But that also requires workforce, and it also requires power, and we're now short of power again. So now we can put in another power plant. And now we can put in a factory. I keep calling them factories. Logistics center. But then we'll be slightly short of workforce, so we actually need some more workers first. Now we can put in transportation center once we have enough materials. There we go. Now we have 40 logistics. Much better. Dinner's really back in a bit. Enjoy dinner. So we're going to be negative on workforce and again if we build that now. So now we need to do that again. Just keep expanding out. They're still full on all of their requirements at least. We're starting to get into the negatives on rice though. We do get the ability to upgrade these better, but for now all we can do is just put more in. Thankfully they're not hugely intensive. Now we can put in a fruit farm. But now we'll be short of workforce if we put in one of these. So we need to do it again. It's just an endless cycle of juggling all of the demands. But once you get the hang of what's required, it becomes pretty intuitive. I find this particular grid layout to be a pretty efficient way of doing things. Sometimes you end up having to rearrange things later on as you unlock more of the things like the security building, which is the operator's equivalent of the infodrome. You kind of got to map out where that's going to be put. Actually, we can make this double width instead, and that'll make things a bit easier. Because we can now put in large house areas instead. They require fewer road connections. Now we're running short of information. Yeah, we're no longer fulfilling all of the needs for that. So what we need to make sure is that we put another information center up here somewhere. Can we put in a hydropower yet? No, we need more operators for that. What's the conversion factor? So 10 to 3, 5 to 4. So we still want to be sticking with workers until we get these vitamin drinks up and running. So power is an issue still. Put that up there because it doesn't have any logistic demand, so it doesn't matter that it's further away from the warehouse. Now we can put some vitamin drinks in.
A clever move, seeing to your staff's good health.
There we go.
Benefits
Net plus
like
2.
that make you a more attractive employer. Not bad.
That will now increase our operator population. So it's already at the point that it's overtaken in terms of revenue, but workforce is still a consideration.
Seems like work is following.
There we go, so it's now equalized. 12 to 4 instead of 5 to 4. So we can now do upgrades while that remains positive. Ooh, we need more fruit though. Otherwise we won't keep that going. There we go. But now we need more water as well, so we need to put one of those in there. And we almost need more rice again, so let's just put that in now to preempt it. Oh, and now we're going to be short of workforce again. Put in some more houses.
So, right then. How's things?
Not going to care about meeting all of their demands to the full extent just at the moment. Now we can run this back here. I mean, 98% is pretty good. Keep our power up. Almost to that level. Now we can put one of these in. We really want to achieve this now because we can start making our systems much more efficient once we unlock certain upgrades which we don't yet have access to. Also, I just remembered I can't actually move things, so I'm going to be needing to delete some things. So we're actually going to delete these and replace them with large houses because we can then delete this road here. so that we can, we can't move these either. That's right. So we do that, and this one, and we do this. There is a method to my madness, don't worry. Right, so we're keeping minimal on our construction materials, but that's intentional for now. At the end of the day, you just wait until you get more construction materials, and that increases the amount of money you've got because you're earning money the whole time as well. So we can start upgrading some more operators shortly. Put another information center up here, because it's starting to become a bit more of a shortage. And we're only going to be putting in a lot more houses. There we go. Put some more of those in. Connect up this. And now we can actually connect this through to there as well. Once again, we just accelerate time for a bit longer. And then we're going to start doing some upgrades again. Want to keep an eye on how things go in terms of scarcity. We're going to need to put some more vitamin drinks in, looks like. Yeah. To keep them fully happy. And that means having to put in more fruit as well. We're going to be able to upgrade these better at some point, but okay, now power is going to be an issue again. So we need to put power supply up here somewhere perhaps. We can start running this up here. We'll just use this to map out where the roads go. We can do that. And then we can do this. And this. Keep our power up. Put some more drinks in. And now we have a nice big surplus. But we're going to need to put more rice farms in soon. In fact, we'll just do that first. And now we need more workforce. Oh, that's right, this was meant to go up one more. Oops. Never mind. Doesn't really matter, it can do that from this point instead. Gonna need more water as well soon. Can we just keep upgrading these for the time being? Upgrade that, upgrade that.
Construction of new building types.
Hey, tidal power station, that's good. We no longer need to put in wind as much. So we can put a tidal power station up here. Costs a lot, doesn't require too much in the way of staff, provides 360, because that's also enhanced by our sector trait, which is good. Whereas this is 50, so that's what, 50 from 10 instead of 360 from 25. And the cost is about the same in terms of equatable rates. Actually 60 to 480 is times 8. 50 times 8 would be 400. So cost-wise, these do work out slightly cheaper, but not by much. Let's just do these bit by bit. There we go, now we need more water again. I've got a bit of a reserve, but do that. Take a big hit to our logistics, but that's the only thing that's going over there, so it's fine. Yeah, it takes 13 logistics, 12 due to distance. I believe actually I want to remove that, because once I get the ability to put security in, that's where I'll put it. And now we need more rice farms again.
Corporation label adapted to reflect economic power.
And now we're low on vitamin drinks as well. But we should be tipping over the 1,000 mark very soon. Oh, not
Get up,
quite.
go to work,
So
come home.
close.
The usual.
Okay, so we need to put in that there. Don't have a huge amount of spare workforce. So let's do something about that, since we've had to put in extra other things anyway. Kind of don't want to expand that just yet if we don't have to.
On the whole, it's a
They'll be
decent
slightly
place.
dissatisfied if there's a shortage, but it's fine.
Your technicians
There we
are
go.
ready. Start the elevator construction once all other requirements are met. My associate, John Rafferty, is already heading here with the special material deliveries.
This is where things get a bit more interesting. Optimal input 26. Yeah, well, we're not going to do that, but we've got a bit of a backlog.
Rafferty here. Miss Bowman assigned me to ensure the transport safety. Approaching your sector, over. Code red. We're under attack. Code red. Damn it. The cargo. Protect the ship.
People of Earth, this is the manifesto of the Moon's independence. The global union waged war on us for generations with weapons like falsehood, negligence, and exploitation. And the LEC bowed its head in servile compliance. But not anymore. Set no foot on the land of our forefathers. We are the Orbital Watch. The Moon is free.
So you'd think if all they want is the moon's freedom, they wouldn't be doing terrorist
They attacked
attacks
us out of nowhere,
on
sunk all me ships and took over the cargo. Now
Earth, but
blockading
whatever.
the whole sector.
This is
No
where it becomes a
transport
bit
to
more
the
like an
main crew
RTS game,
anymore.
which is kind of fun.
All right, no time to study regulations. Meet Rafferty at the coordinates transmitted. Do whatever is necessary.
So this is basically an
Spaceport. We'll get
easy
our
mode,
ships out of there, and in one piece.
but it also gives you this, which is required for buying your next warehouse, so it's actually quite beneficial. Down we go.
There. That's where the blatant cowards attacked us. Still circling our cargo ships like a swarm of black flies. And I see they brought reinforcements. Gotta be careful. I've seen them before. They've no compunctions at all. Press past their blockade and free our ships. I got your back.
So you get Rafferty to accompany you on this, which allows you to just keep being repaired. Like he just repairs you for free. which is great because you only get three ships to start with, which is really not enough normally. But also on easy, they have hardly any hit points, so it's really quick to be able to destroy anything.
Green to go. We're under fire.
I see what's wrong. No worries.
Oof. There's like suicide drones that do a lot of damage. That's what just happened to that ship. But that's why he's there to help
Weapon
bring things
systems
back up again.
online.
Destroy the mines.
Roger.
Now this, in the military scenarios, you still get these assignments which you otherwise don't, and they give you bonus combat experience. And they're usually pretty easy, so we're going to do that. So we just need to find certain things on land here. Get them out of the way. One more, is it? Couple more.
I still wish I
There
hadn't
we go.
had to ask you, my friend, but you did even better than I dared hope.
So you can get those guys and their seaplanes showing up in your main maps as well when you have assignments enabled, but I was turning them off.
Battle stations.
All talks have failed.
Battle stations.
Used the repair drone 5 times, but I have very little use of the repair drone because I've got this dude
Underway.
just constantly repairing me. But sure.
Prepared. Running.
Coordinates confirmed.
Nothing me lads and I can't face.
So by destroying these ships you get fuel, which powers some of your abilities, but you also get these token abilities. So you can do a missile barrage, you can do support fleet, and you can do an electromagnetic pulse. Or with fuel, oh, you're meant to be attacking that. With fuel you can do a repair drone, a shield, or a mine.
Underway.
The mines can be quite useful for just destroying their mines. You can also lure their ships into them and then blow them up, which is quite fun.
On our way.
At higher difficulties, you really need to make the most of all of your abilities. At the easier difficulties, you can pretty much just swan your way through.
Copy that.
But just for fun, let's just launch some missiles.
Nuclear missile.
Open fire.
And we got another one back straight away.
Underway.
Boom.
Launching. Nuclear missile.
Do another missile.
I see what's wrong. No worries.
Just the one I wanted to
Deliver
see.
3 EM pulses. I only have 2 at the moment, but here's a third.
Underway.
So this is what I mean by you can lure their ships into their mines. If we get close enough. Yep, there we go. And boom.
Underway.
Jibaited.
Unloading finished.
The assignments only start ticking down their remaining time once they're accepted, so once you see what they are, it's quite good just to leave them until you can already achieve them immediately, rather than being in a hurry.
Weapon systems online.
There's a lot of ways you can game the system in this game, which is quite fun.
Affirmative.
Just going to use our missiles again, because we can. Now our main objective is up the top there, but we've got no time limit, so we're actually going to just be spending a little bit of extra time collecting some extra resources while we can.
Affirmative.
We don't get any extra military experience, but we do get some extra resources.
Roads are running full tilt.
Also, we want to use that so we can collect more fuel so that we can do more in order for that other assignment. So these ones have certain powers, like this casts a shield on things, so we want to kill that first so that it doesn't just shield the other one,
Target acquired.
otherwise we're just wasting ammo.
Taking care of the damages.
And we're just going to use liberal usage of the speed up tool here in order to get places fast.
Repair drones launch.
And we're just going to keep using the repair drones because that's an objective.
Coordinates confirmed.
Now if we come over here and lure them up closer, hopefully.
Copy that.
Come on. There we go.
On our way.
Okay, not quite as effective as I'd hoped, but
Battle stations.
I'm already at max with missiles.
Underway.
One down here.
Target acquired.
Overhauling in progress.
Do that.
Nuclear missile fired.
Copy that.
I didn't even kill them completely. That's a bit useless. Have I used this 5 times yet?
All talks have failed.
4 times. 5 times. There we go.
Every sense of the word.
Underway. Full speed ahead.
Okay, so I don't actually want to go up there yet because I don't want to complete the mission. Not just yet. We want to hit that off while they're there. Goodbye.
Confirmed.
Do that there.
Open fire.
Gonna E-impulse them because it's funny.
We're under fire.
E-impulse does actually do some damage. Gonna hit that with a wave mine. Gonna hit that with some missiles.
Overhauling in progress.
And we're gonna call in a support fleet just to provide some distraction elements. And we're going to take out this storage facility. And I think we're pretty much sorted. Oh, there's another storage facility over here actually. Just gonna do that. Gonna do that.
Copy that.
It was iridium anyway, we don't really care about iridium to be honest. Let's call them some more missiles, because we can. Just making sure that I've collected pretty much everything. Yeah, looks like it.
Copy that.
And call in some support,
Called some pals of ours.
because we may as well.
Mission results in
Voila!
assessment.
Just like that.
Victory.
A bunch of ships on the bottom of the sea. None of them ours. I'd call that a happy ending.
And by doing all of the side objectives, we get enough experience to go up a couple of levels. A level. And we get to upgrade our first ship. So you unlock more slots by going up corporation level. Until level 14 you get a full fleet of 8 ships. And then to be able to upgrade them you need to do your military level. So it's a good
I'm glad
combination
you
between
came
the
back
two.
unharmed. This attack gave everyone at the Union headquarters shock, but the program has to go on.
And we'll return
We've
to
lost contact to Lunar Excavation
our base.
Corps. It seems many moon colonies aligned with the Orbital Watch. It's all the more important your space elevator goes into operation.
And now we upgrade.
Cable firmly attached. Elevator car ready for departure. Attention. Approaching Global Union Space Station. Prepare for docking.
Congratulations! The first step into space. All purviews of the global economy are now accessible for you. Phase 2 of the Lunar Licensing Program starts now.
Okay, now we'll bring our
I'm way
command
too
ship
old for
over here.
adventures like
And we
that
can
in the
unlock the
past
next
time. So you better make sure
next
you
area.
got a decent battle fleet. Stop by the dockyard if you want any ships built or revamped and that.
Assuming we can afford it yet.
I hope this helps you.
Yep, good.
Paperwork's done. It's yours.
So that gives us a bit more passive income. Not much, but a little bit. And we can now start putting workers on this, and we've got more slots.
Affirmative.
Now, what we can also do, now that we've used Rafferty, is start adding modules onto our things. So we can expand things further, and they have a significant impact. So adding on an additional field, for example, significantly increases the production rate, but without it fully increasing the maintenance costs. And then you can reduce the amount of workforce that's required so that you don't need to worry about putting in as many houses. You can reduce any energy consumption, less of an issue on this map, but logistics maintenance, quite useful for things like this that are quite far away. But this we're actually going to destroy now because we can expand the capacity here. So we can increase production rate by 100%, but with only an additional 50% in maintenance costs by doing that. And that means that we can actually demolish this one. And we'll probably put a hydro plant in there at some point, but we won't need to do that just yet, because we're really good on energy at the moment. So now we're just going to take a bit of time to rebalance things slightly. So we can demolish some of these. We can add on some rice fields. We can add on that many. So now this one it costs 92 and 69, nice, maintenance, but 820% production, whereas this is 100% production for 15 workers. So, 15 times 8.2 is more than 69. So yeah. What we're going to do is we're just going to demolish all of those and do that. And sure enough, we're at plus 43. So we're good. We can actually demolish some of these fields until we need them. So now we're still at plus 25. We can also do the same here to increase the amount of building materials we have available, which reduces the amount of waiting time we're likely to have. But I actually don't mind that too much because, again, you can just accelerate time and just increase your money earnings while you're doing so. So that's not the end of the world. These fruit things, though, these definitely need an improvement. So we're just going to do this. And we're going to do this. Unfortunately, we can't quite expand it as far as we'd like, because we could theoretically put one extra one down. Maybe not the best place for them, I guess. I don't know. We'll just do that for now. We can put more on the other island instead. What it also means is that you end up with fewer logistics requirements, because you're expanding instead. So we've now got a huge surplus of fruit, so we can now expand these. So the logistics remains 2, even though we've increased capacity. So we've increased the output. These add on 50%, but also increase 50% consumption, but only 25% maintenance costs. Yeah, we're going to need that soon anyway. So we can start to get a few more efficiencies out of things. These we can also expand if we want, but The important thing with these is that we can always reduce their energy consumption or their staff requirements. And honestly, I think the staff requirements is probably the most useful thing for this one. So now it's 50% capacity or workforce requirement. These here, 55, 55, I guess they're fine. It's 25. This is where we can reduce the credit cost. These are quite expensive, but they become worth it over time. Maybe we should have done the energy one so we can reduce it to 50%. We could have been reducing it pretty much 100%. Maybe that would have been better. Oh well. I mean, 50% cost is pretty damn useful. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is pop over here
Copy that.
and start this going. And actually what we should probably be doing is just we'll demolish some of these wind plants because we don't need them and they're just costing money. Because it's much better, especially with all of those upgrades, it's much better, much more efficient to just add on an additional hydro. Like so. Though even that is excessive currently. Not sure if we still need this. We're only adding 25. Okay, yep, we still need that. Okay. Good to know. Because things multiply the further they are away, so that does make sense. So how are we going? We're 370 in power, 284 workforce. We're making 1700. It's decent. We can also start upgrading some more of these to get more
On the
income,
whole,
because these are 26 instead of 15. And we do want to get a much larger population. 1250 we get there, 2500 is when we unlock the security department. Okay. Let's start just upgrading all of these as we can. Maybe we do want to produce more of these. What we want to do for now is actually demolish that so that we can expand this. So that's now plus 40.
Construction of new building types possible.
Takes 10 each time. Consumption goes up 50. 15, 25. So it's going to be 1 to 1, isn't it? Yeah, so we can put 3 more modules on.
Warning.
Once we get enough money.
Demand for specific consumer products.
There we go. So now we're going to get plenty of construction materials. Which means we can upgrade things more freely.